My name is Rob. I'm 31. I work for Sainsbury's, and I have well, she's 4 next week, my daughter Scarlet. I also have a stepdaughter Imogen, who is 18. She's just a few months ago started university, so got one young, one old. I'm a Tottenham supporter, and a guitar player. I first heard about Cruse through my GP. I was seeing the doctor regularly because of having just lost my wife. They were sort of keeping an eye on me, and after a while it was suggested to me that Cruse could be able to help me, so I was made aware and put in touch with them through my doctor. My GP was more keen than I was. It took a bit of persuading, of a few different conversations for them to convince me that it was the best thing for me. Obviously once I agreed, then I got in touch with them, and we went from there. Back in December 2010, my wife Donna went into hospital to have our daughter Scarlet. While she was in hospital, she contracted swine flu. She spent a month in intensive care, but unfortunately she didn't pull through, and she died at the end of January 2011, leaving me on my own with a 1-month-old baby. To start with, my counsellor would come and see me at home. It was easier for me because I had a newborn baby, so she came to see me at home. And then over time, I think I realise now that it was part of one of her methods for helping me. Was we started to meet for coffee in town and things like that, which I realise now was a way of getting me out of the house and back sort of out and about, rather than being cooped up at home all the time. So I say it was mainly just talking. I'm sure every person is different, every counsellor is different, so I'm sure every relationship between bereaved person and counsellor works in a different way, but for me it was mainly just talking, and the main thing was the fact that she wasn't emotionally involved in it. She wasn't close to me, a member of my family, or anything like that, so it just made it much easier just to talk about how you were feeling, and to be told that that's perfectly reasonable and normal by somebody with experience of dealing with these kinds of situations. Well, the main one was before you actually see anyone in the flesh, you have talk on the phone, give your story, and then they find the right person that lives locally to you that can come and see you. And the first time she arrived here to come and see me, I opened the door and she said, "Hi, my name's Donna. I've been sent from Cruse to come and help you with your bereavement." And it's the same name as my wife, and it just kind of seemed, like some sort of sign that she'd been sent to kind of to sort me out, if you like. So yeah, that was the most surprising thing about it, really. It just put me at ease straight away. You could say that it's chance, but in those kinds of, when you're in that sort of situation, any kind of small bit of comfort that you can take from things makes a massive difference. So, plus I was struck by just how committed the volunteers are to what they do. The main thing I would say is just to realise that there isn't a right answer to bereavement and grief. There isn't a right way to feel or to think or to act. There isn't a magic formula. However you feel, however long it takes you, everyone's different, and there is no right or wrong. So you shouldn't feel guilty or beat yourself up or kind of put pressure on yourself to feel a certain way, or it's been X amount of time, I shouldn't be feeling like this anymore, because there isn't a magic formula, and I guess that is the main thing that has been instilled into me by the counselling. I would say just the fact that I knew for 1 hour a week I was going to see Donna from Cruse, and I could say whatever I want, talk about whatever I liked, however I felt, and she would listen to me, and she'd probably have some experiences that she or we could draw on. That would be helpful. Just that comfort factor of knowing that you've got that kind of that security, if you like, that however hard things are, you've got that hour a week there where you can let it all out, and whether you actually do or not when it comes to that hour is kind of irrelevant. It's kind of just that comfort factor, really. Huge, yeah. Actually, I think Scarlet was only 4 days old when Donna was taken into intensive care, and I spent every second I could at her bedside. So my mum took over looking after Scarlet, who was a newborn baby at the time, and continued to do so. I mean, whilst Donna was in intensive care, but then after she passed away, obviously that continued for months after. I wasn't in a state to be looking after a new baby. So yeah, in the immediate aftermath there, yeah, she was amazing, and obviously has been ever since, with helping with childcare and looking after Scarlet. Yeah, it's been amazing. I don't think it's too strong a statement to say that I'm not sure what sort of state I'd be in, or whether I would have made it through without Cruse, really. Yeah, so I would recommend A, counselling in general, and B, Cruse in particular, to anyone that's struggling to cope with bereavement. Yeah. The main thing I would say is just don't be a hero, really. If you feel you could do with a bit of support, then just go and ask. Just go and ask. I mean, my port of call is my GP, so I recommend that you start there. But even if you feel that you might need a bit of help, then it's worth going and asking the question and seeing what help you can get. Especially for me, being a male, obviously it's a bit more stigmatised. A bit harder to actually say, put your hand up and say, "Oh, I need a bit of help," but it can be invaluable. And like I've said, they came to visit me at home, so nobody has to know if you don't want them to. But if you feel you need some help, then just put your hand up and ask for it. Me and my wife Donna are expecting our first child together. And she was due on the 12th of December, but she was a bit late, so we ended up in hospital on Christmas Eve 2010, when Scarlet was born. Unfortunately, while we were in the hospital, Donna contracted swine flu, and after only 4 days after the Scarlet's birth, she was taken into intensive care, where she spent a month before, unfortunately, she passed away at the end of January 2011, leaving me with Scarlet, who was just 1 month old. There is a lot of stigma about counselling, particularly for men. And I have to say, I did take quite a lot of convincing myself to take up some counselling, despite the tragic situation that I found myself in, and how much I was struggling to cope with things. It still took quite a lot of convincing for me to agree to have some counselling. But once I did, and I don't mean years later, I mean within the first session, once we sort of introduced each other and kind of explained a bit about the situation and stuff like that, how it was going to work, once we actually got into the actual counselling itself, I just breathed a sigh of relief. It was just having somebody that understood me, that wasn't going to judge me, that I could say what I wanted to, things that you may not be able to say to family members and things for fear of what they may think because of the state of mind that you're in at the time. Absolutely, just massive relief to be able to unburden yourself.
And what was one of the main benefits you got out of the support?
It'll be 4 years this Christmas since I lost my wife. Obviously there was a bit of a gap after from when I started to see a counsellor, but yeah, we're still in touch now. So